Hey guys, welcome. Jason Skipper here, and welcome to WebBuild module number 1, video number 1. I don't know if you guys are as excited as I am, but man, I am ready to go. I've been working on this program for months, and it's just time. I am excited now that we're finally getting into the videos. It's not just sit here and start recording something and trying to teach you it. I've been preparing the background for months, and so I'm excited to get started. And in this first lesson, we're actually going to get into a little bit about Web Strategy 101, talking about what we want to do. We want to talk about our goals in this, why we're doing this, our overall strategy for the website. And we're also going to talk a little bit about decisions that we're going to need to make, because we're going to be installing a good bit of software here in the third video and the fourth video of this module, and we need to make some decisions of what we want to install and what we don't, because that's going to determine what plans we get when we start our hosting accounts. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. Let's get started right away. And I just wanted to show you the website here. I'm sure you've been in and you've looked around a little bit, but this is the website, and I've tried to make it as easy as possible to get around so that you can find your way. The homepage, once you have logged in, is very simple. In this, you have your homepage. Make sure, if you haven't seen the intro video, you'll be able to see that. It may look a little bit different than this one. This is a placeholder in here for now, but I will be uploading the actual video in there, and also a little bit of explanation of where you start and an overview of the different modules. Further down, you'll find the module list, which you can click into and go into each one. You can also use the menu up here, and you just click and choose. So as we are in module 1, you can go into any of the lessons, also the placeholder that's here, but then you can find everything I'm talking about, the outline, right down below that. And so that's what this is, and let's get into this. So first of all, one of the big things when we're talking about strategy for our web presence, it's very important to understand our goals and understanding why we're doing this, okay? And this is something I'm going to repeat over and over and over again, and I'm sure that you've heard me say this in the webinar and in the first video, but we are doing this not to be cool, not doing it just because someone told us that we need to have a web presence, someone told us that we need to have a good website. We're doing this because we want to reach our community. As a church, we want to grow because we have a calling, to reach our world and to touch it with God's love, with His power. And so the goals that we're doing this, the reason we are putting this together is because we want to grow. We want our church to grow. We want to reach out and change our community. And the key is this, to understand this, guys. It's not just an extra thing that we're doing. Today, the web is an integral part of what the church has to be, because our world lives online, okay? Everyone lives online. They spend most of their waking hours online. And if we're not online, we're not in their world. And it's important to understand that. Life isn't the same as it was 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 years ago. And people live online. They make their decisions based on what they find online, what they see online. They do everything online. Okay? And so it's very important to keep that in mind and understand that this isn't just something that I'm setting up because, well, we need to do it. No, it's because we want to reach our world, and that's why we're doing it. Now, talking about our church website, the website that we're going to be designing here in the next module, in module 2, something that's very important, and this is probably goes without saying, is that the website needs to be very good and functional. It doesn't have to be amazing. It doesn't have to have all the eye candy. It certainly doesn't have to, have everything. It doesn't have to be perfect. but it needs to be good and functional, and it needs to get to what people are looking for. It needs to be made in excellence, okay? Your site is a reflection of your church. Now, the reason I say this is because that's probably why you are in this course as it is, and we've talked about this, but if your website is of bad quality, or it's low quality, or it's dated, people are going to relate what they see to you and to your church, okay? Your site is a reflection of your church. And your website must be congruent to who you are as a church, and it must be excellent. Someone new coming to your site is not going to visit your church if they see a lack of excellence. People are going to know who you are as a church, and they're going to understand what they're going to find at the church in one of three ways. Number one is because they know you and they like you and they want to come to your church. Number two is that they know people in your church and they like them or don't like them, but they'll see that and they'll say, okay, I want to go or I don't want to go. And so they'll find that in that. And the third way is what they're going to find outside of the church through advertising or online, which is really what we are setting up now. And if they go to your website and they don't like it, or they see something that they don't understand, or they just don't get, or they see people, or they see pictures that just mean nothing to them, they're not going to like it, and they're not going to go. They're not going to visit. Some 80% of people who visit churches have first visited your website and visited your social media feeds. Okay. Now, here's the question: what are people looking for when they go to your website? Okay. Number one is this: who are the pastors? That's what people want to know. Who are the pastors? Do they look like someone that we'd like to hang out with? Do they look like someone who is relatable, someone who I could, kind of get to know a little bit? People want to know, especially when they're going to a new church. Somewhere it's a little bit intimidating. If you've never been to a church and you want to go somewhere new, you want to know if the people are kind of like you. You want to know if the people are someone who you could probably like. And that's important. They need to be able to see your pictures. They need to be able to see you, your wife. They need to be able to see, or your husband, whoever you are. They need to be able to see the pastor, the leaders, real faces. Now, as we're building this site, we're going to be building a demo church. I'm building a lot of these things with stock images. But honestly, I would recommend 100% when you're putting together your final church that you use real pictures. They want to see real faces. They don't have to be perfect. They want to see authenticity. They want to see, who are these people? Do they look like people we'd like to hang out with? Okay. They also want to know when and where you meet. Now, that sounds kind of elementary, but you would be surprised of how many churches don't actually have this in an easy to find place on their website. It's like, where is this church? What time do they meet? You go in and you got to find it. That needs to be front and center. People need to be able to see that, and they need to be able to get there. It needs to be repeated throughout the website, because our goal isn't to just make them be in awe of our website. Our goal is to get them to come to our church, right? We want them to be a part of our community. And so they need to be able to see that. They need to be able to have maps. They need to be able to click on it and get directions. Okay, and so it's very important that they can see when and where they meet. They want to know, what can I expect? What can I expect when I go to that church? Okay, it's not important, or it's not that important to put up a full 100% doctrinal statement and explaining why you're different than everyone else. Now, those things are very important, and you're going to want to put those things on a website, but they don't need to be front and center. What people need to see and what people are looking for, most people who aren't in church, they are looking for hope. They're looking for, I need something. I need some help. And they want to know, they want to make sure that they're not going to go there and feel so out of place. And so if you're a laid back church, you need to put that out. If you're not a laid back church, if you like to do things a little bit more with style or whatever it is, that needs to be laid out. That needs to be front and center. People need to be able to see that in the pictures, in real pictures of your church. People need to be able to see that and be able to know what to expect. What am I going to expect for my children when they come? And what needs to happen whenever we get there? Because people are intimidated when they come. When I get there, is there going to be somebody explaining these things to me? Is there going to be good signage or isn't there? But if not, it needs to be explained here. What can I expect? As I said before, authenticity. This is very important. So use real pictures, use videos, things like that people get to know you and do that. One of the reasons that, I really like what we're doing here, and I hope over this course you get to see it, is that through this course, you get to know me and get to know my heart and understand who I am for real, and trying not to be perfect here, but to be able to walk you through it, pastor to pastor, as I can explain to her, pastor to leader, pastor to Christian, whoever we are, whoever you are. I'm here to try to show you my heart and who I am and what our goals are together. And so people need to be able to see that. We live in an age today where it's not the same as it was 50 years ago. You walk around and look good and everyone's going to like it. Today, people can read, and they can read the authenticity in people. And if someone's fake, they'll spot you 100 miles away. So you just need to be very authentic. Your website needs to be authentic. Social media needs to be authentic, okay? And one of the last things I'm going to talk about here in terms of strategy is, very simply, there needs to be some public credibility. And that means that we need to get some good reviews, people reviewing us online, on social media, on Facebook, on Google Maps, on Apple Maps, on Yelp. Okay, and so we need to get some real public credibility out there, because when I go and I visit different churches and different places, I will read the reviews. I'll look it up on Google Maps or Apple Maps, and there you can read the reviews that are there. And if I see that a lot of people are liking this, then, it looks like, hey, this looks like a really good church, because they're all looking. When someone is not in church, they're looking as hard as they can to figure out what to expect. And so when they read these reviews, they're going to figure out even better what to expect. And so try to get some good reviews out there. You're always opening yourself up, for negative reviews. Try not to get those, but try as hard as possible to get as many people as possible to review your church, and people who love your church, to show that authenticity, okay? And so that public credibility. And so that's very important. We're going to get into social media further on in the course, and so in that strategy later on. But first, we're going to build the base. So to be able to send people to our website, to our church, we need to build the base. And that's what we're going to be doing here in the first 2 modules, all right? Building that base. Now, before we keep going into actually getting our domain name and setting everything up, we need to make a few decisions, first of all, okay? In this course, as you've seen throughout this, I'm going to teach you a lot of different things. I'm going to teach you many things. And of course, we're going to learn how to build your website and to be successful in social media. But we're also going to learn how to use quite a few online tools that are available for us today. There's just so many amazing tools that are available for us today. And one of my goals with this program is that it gives you an amazing web presence, an amazing setup without spending a lot of money. Because honestly, you can spend a ton of money to have a decent web presence if you want to do it. But I'm trying to teach you how to do this without spending all of your money, okay? And I'm going to teach you, there are so many free and open source tools that are available for us to take advantage of. I'm going to teach you how to use a lot of these different options that we have. But there are 2 of them that I want to actually install on your server besides your website, okay? So when someone goes to your website, mychurch.com, okay? When someone goes to your website at mychurch.com or faithchurch.com, .com or .church, whatever it is. Okay. When someone goes to your website, they will see your website there. They will see your web page, and they're going to see everything that's there. But I also want to set up a few other things on your server that's going to allow you to work and really help you out with the admin in your church, the administration. Okay. One of those is something that I found, and I've looked long and hard for this, and I've found this, and I really, really like it. And it's called Church CRM. Okay. Church CRM. And this is an open source tool that is basically a membership management software for churches, okay? And this is an open source free software that is being actively developed by volunteers. I'm actually one of the active developers now on this. I found it several weeks ago, and I've got into it, and I've actually started becoming one of the developers on the team. And I'll show you their website, Church CRM website, and you go through here and you can view the demo. It's churchcrm.io if you want to go and visit that. And you can kind of look through it, and it shows all the different features that are available on this. We have a dashboard, and basically what it is it helps us to follow up on membership, congregation features, follow up on all the membership. We can email them, stay in contact with them, Sunday school class reports, child and parent contact information, all of these things, email Sunday school classes with a press of a button, and it really is that easy. You can visualize through maps your membership information. MailChimp, we integrate with this so that you can email people reports. You get all types of reports out of it. You have a finance function for tracking tithes, pledges, and gifts. A fundraiser automation, so we want to do that. Volunteers, groups, calendars, all these different things that just make the admin in your church so much better. And this all comes for free, guys. It's an amazing, amazing resource. So you can go through their website, basically, and look through that. But we're actually going to install this, and I have set up an installer that, along with WordPress, which is going to be our base for our website, it's going to install Church CRM if you want to do that, okay? And so let me just show you the Church CRM base here. Now this is the demo site here, but you can see it's just very well laid out. You can track your families, people, Sunday school classes, groups, add groups, and it is actively being developed. And there is a very good support community. They're all people who are giving their time and energy to this, but if you run into problems, there's people there that are going to be able to help you and work through it. And so it's just something that's very good. I recommend it. We're going to install that. Okay, now if you don't want to, then you can turn off that option, but I would definitely recommend it, even though you're not sure, at least to try it out. We're going to install it. It doesn't cost anything. I just want you to make that decision. And the second thing that I want you to make a decision on is this. I want to install OwnCloud on your server. And OwnCloud is basically a drop-in replacement for Dropbox or iCloud Drive. I'm sure you've heard of one of the two. Basically, it's a file sharing, online file sharing service in this. But OwnCloud, instead of being on someone else's server, is actually on your own server. And the reason I recommend this over that, Dropbox is a great option. I love iCloud Drive. I use it a lot between my computer, my phone, my iPad, all the different things to be able to share my documents and data and my photos. It really is nice. But when we talk about a church, when we're talking about a business, there's something that we need, and I'm not saying church is business, but I'm saying an organization. What we need something a little bit different than just personal file sharing. Okay, you need to have different accounts. You need to be able to share this information with more people. Now, for example, with Dropbox, you can do this. You can share certain folders with different people. But if you want more than, if you want more space, or you need more access to different things, or you want that to be connected. Basically, you want everybody to be able to share on the same drive. Then you need to get a pro account, and that costs money for every single user. The amazing thing about OwnCloud is you are the one who decides how many users it is. So once it's installed on your server, of course it's free, it's open source software, it is free. The difference is that you can decide the users, you can add all of these users in, you can decide all of these different things, and it's just an amazing resource. It's much more flexible, especially for a church that needs to share with many users. And I'm talking about photos, documents, music, videos, different things that you need to do. And it's going to save you money in the long run. Okay, so the question is, do you want to install it? And I'll just show you the OwnCloud website. It's owncloud.org. And also you can see, oops, I had the demo site up here and I'm not sure what happened. Okay, and so basically you go in and you can see all your files here, favorites, shared with you, shared with others, shared by link, tags. It's going to be a good place to do backups and different things like that too, if necessary. You can also go in and add new users, and so they can get in and they can have their own accounts. You can put limits on how much they can share so that the worship team can have their own account, for example, and different Sunday school classes can have their own account, or whatever is the need, whatever you can imagine is the need. Now, if you want to do that, the reason I'm talking to you about this now is because to do that, we're going to need a little bit extra drive space for that, because it will take space, all right? And so on top of our server, if we want to do that, we are probably going to want to add in an extra storage block, okay? And I'll explain all that later, but if you want to do that, I'm going to recommend it big time. That extra storage block is probably going to cost you. The website hosting is probably going to cost about $10 a month, and then the extra storage block would probably be another $10 a month, which will give you 100 gigabytes more of space. I totally recommend it. I recommend doing it. If you're, look into that. Look into OwnCloud before we get to that point there, and if you want to try it out, you can try it out without adding the storage block, but I would definitely recommend that if you guys are looking to do things in an excellent way while saving money, just do it. We're talking about $20 a month for our website and all of these extra services that are part of that, and you're done. I mean, you got so much going on for $20 a month, okay? And so I would just recommend do it. All right, guys? Well, that is the end of this first video and this first lesson. In the next lesson, we're actually going to get into getting our domain name and registering our domain name. And we're going to talk a little bit about, we're not really going to get in too much to hosting, but we're going to get into talking about setting up our networking for that. And so maybe you understand that, maybe you don't. It doesn't matter. I'll walk you through it. And so we'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much, guys. I'll see you then. Bye.